Welcome to Absolutely PlayStation Esteemed Gamers. My name is Benny. That is Dylan. And today we're going to be talking about the Avengers XP booster scandal, or issue, or controversy, however you want to look at what actually happened. And if you like this type of content where two guys sit around talking about stuff involved in the Marvel video games, make sure you hit subscribe, press that like button, and join us right here at the Absolute Army. So, quick recap. First off, I want to say, today we were going to talk about what Gotham Knights shouldn't do that Avengers did do and how they can improve in the game. That'll be a video for next week now, because another month, another Marvel's Avengers controversy.
This is a good one, though. This is good news this time. So
Yeah. Okay, so basically, for those who don't know, all the way back last year, they said they will never do XP boosters. They then reduced the XP gain you get in things as an excuse of giving you more time to learn your characters. To me, it just looked at they want to give us more time to level because they've decided leveling is going to be the core of their game. Not the biggest thing that I enjoy, but I play a lot of games that is the core of the game. Black Desert Online, things like that. Okay, fine, I'll deal with that. Leveling is the core of your game. They then started to roll out XP boosters as bonus packs to things that people could do. And I said it then, Dylan. They're trying to ease us in so that by the time we hit Wakanda, they can sell this. And the general consensus was, no, they said they will never do this. I don't remember if you said those words, but you kind of said, okay, we'll see if your theory holds up.
I don't think I was ever against it completely.
Yeah, I don't think you were like, no, Brady, you wrong.
No, but it's like, when a developer tells you one thing, it takes a strong will to be like, no, I think they're lying. It's like you don't want the developer of the game that you like to be lying to you. But that's sort of what happened. But the good news now is that, and there's some people who are being cynical about it that I've seen, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is a couple weeks later, I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks, they've reversed it. So they are no longer selling XP boosters in the shop. They've reversed it completely. So I don't know if that means that we're not going to see XP boosters at all anymore. I imagine we'll still see them.
No, so what they did was to ease us into it. Well, to ease us into it, they gave you the way to earn them, and they said that will stay. You can still earn them. Mm-hmm. And my assumption is they'll probably put them in the packs as well still, because no one gave them flack for putting them in packs. Like, oh, here's 5 Miss Marvels and a pack. You know what I mean? And you get this one thing.
Felt more like a bonus.
So I think they'll probably stay there.
And again, like, they I think their mindset and a lot of the user, like the player base's mindset is that inherently pay to win in heavy quotes. These XP boosters aren't exactly the problem. It's the fact that, again, you have removed something from the game, for one reason, and said that it wouldn't come back as a monetary thing, and now it has. And that's the problem that people are having. And like even in their response that Crystal Dynamics put out, they were like, we don't see it as pay to win, but we understand the community doesn't like this decision, so we're going to reverse the decision, which is like, I think they have their heads on straight, and it probably wasn't their decision. It was probably some higher up who was like, well, we need more money. Which again, I think that was back when it first started and people were harassing developers. The developers were like, stop harassing us. It wasn't our decision.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a whole debacle. But
the whole debacle was that they said that they weren't going to do it. Then they did do it and stayed quiet about the whole situation. I think it was the quietness that made it the worst. If they had just come out and been like, hey guys, we're exploring monetary options. Our original plan didn't work, so we're trying these other methods. I think people would have been still pissy, but at least been like, okay, at least you're communicating with us what your decision is. Like, we understand where you're coming from. But what they did was they said that they're never going to do it and then just slipped them in. And they were like, people will shut up in like a month, right? No, for a month they got nothing, but every single time they announced something, people would go, still waiting for a response. What is this shit? And every week that would go by, go ahead.
It's just weird when somebody does if somebody makes a mistake, and like we'll use some modern terms here. If somebody makes an oopsie and gets canceled and their response is to pretend it didn't happen, that's for the rest of your career, everyone is just going to bring it up at every turn.
Yeah.
especially when it's justified. Like when you're just saying that you're gonna do one thing and then you do the other, it's like, all right, well. But again, like they fixed it, they reversed it. The cynicism that I referred to earlier is I saw some people being like, oh, they only did it like 2 or 3 weeks in, and they were like, oh, we got enough money from it. Now let's pull out. Now that we got our profit.
I've heard the exact opposite argument. I've heard the exact opposite argument, which was, oh, you're only pulling it out and trying to save face because no one bought it. I was like, I really doubt that. Because I know for a fact you put those in there, even though I don't like it, I would have just bought those to start leveling characters. So like,
I mean, I think I would say, and I don't have the data on this. I don't think we'll ever have the data on this. But I would be interested to see it. I think people probably didn't buy these as much as they would have, if it was handled better, or. Yeah. You know, obviously, like, well, I think people aren't going to buy XP boosters as much as they're going to buy skins anyway. So you can look at it. You can look at it however many conspiracy theory ways you want to look at this decision. But at the end of the day, the decision was reversed, and they're saying it is because of the community outcry.
Yeah.
So, like, the only reason to believe that there is some other sinister reason for it is if you want to continue to think that Crystal Dynamics is like a demon who only has the worst of interests out for the Avengers.
Having spoken to a lot of the guys there's a lot of passion and love for this game and what they made. And you could feel it in the game itself. What I feel overall has happened with Crystal Dynamics is on paper they had a great idea and they've never done a live service game and they've gotten in way over their heads. Trying to churn out fast content, trying to come up with a monetization schedule that works, trying to have a non-buggy game. From a company that brought us all of the Tomb Raider titles that are incredible if you've never played them, and they've been around for years making incredible games, they moved into a live service game. It kind of reminds me of the Anthem situation where it just came out and they just got in way over their heads. But unlike the Anthem situation where they're like, you know what? We're done. It's over. I hope you enjoyed. Like, they're trying to redeem this and make it viable with different monetization schemes, faster churn out of content, getting in the flow. And they did all of this right in the middle of COVID. I do 100% think this game should have been delayed until this year. I think it was a combination of they got in over their heads. They were still trying to finalize a lot of the bugs and problems. And Square Enix is like, we need a big hit for this quarter. I know it's a pandemic. I know you're working slowly, but we need a big hit. Go.
Yeah. I think the game, and I've said this multiple times, I think if the game released with content up to the Hawkeye drop and beating the odds, that mission, that was the end of the initial drop of the game. And then we got the War for Wakanda stuff like a couple months later. I think that would have been way better, and that would have been attainable if my cats weren't fighting each other. Stop it. That would have been attainable if they had delayed it to this year.
Yeah.
But you know, that again, that's like talking. It doesn't matter. It's
past. All what ifs. At the end, we both think it's a great game, and like I said, I've spoken to these developers. I'm in their group thing there. I could chat with them pretty easily, and at no point have I gotten the vibe of like, oh man, they're just so shrewd and shady, and they're trying to milk the player. No, they have a passion for what they made, and they're trying to make it work.
And I think something that is a little bit indefensible is when this story broke, like when they did do this, and we talked about this one like a couple weeks ago when this was relevant, when it first happened, is that a few developers did go and not attack, but like aggressively defend themselves in players' DMs, and that's like that's not okay. But at least it shows. Like, if you want a silver lining out of that, at least it shows that, A, the devs aren't happy because they were trying to deflect, in the privacy of direct messages, they were trying to deflect blame onto, higher-ups, Square Enix, whoever. And it shows that, like, they're passionate enough about, like, if they didn't care about this game and they treated it as a job, and I'm reading into a lot of stuff here, but just as a creative, like, the only way I could see defending something that vehemently is if I care about it. Past just a monetary, point. And I think a lot of them need to take a step back and think about stuff for a little bit more, and I think this is a good example of that. Of like they took a little while. They shut up for a bit, which wasn't a good decision at the time, but now like with hindsight, like they were probably just thinking about it, and they were probably waiting through the red tape chain of command that probably takes forever.
I'd imagine
Square
that.
Enix headquarters to to remove it.
I don't know who gave them the okay to do this or told them to do this. If it was Square, if it was a Crystal Dynamics decision. But I mean, they probably were at least waiting a week or two just to see if like, okay, people are going to get pissed right away. But if it just goes away, let's just whatever, but it didn't go away. Like that's been the thing for like a month. There was a Forbes article about it. Like
there were a lot of articles the day that this broke. And I think that was probably a big, like the devs might have, honestly, I could see it if the devs went to whoever's decision it was and was like, see, bad call, and they're like, wait a couple weeks, see if it makes us enough money to ignore all of that bad press.
Because that's also how a lot of this stuff works. Like, I mean, there's a lot of bad press with games like Fortnite and stuff like that, and then they'll just wait and see if it makes them money. So,
and like there is the thing about like a loud minority, right? Like if I think it is fair when you're dealing with a game that I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of people play, but it's still a video game with a player base. And when you are dealing with the diehard fans who come and watch the dev streams every week and who follow and react on Twitter constantly, it's like your worldview can be warped very quickly to think that everyone hates something when that might not be the case. So I think it is fair that they waited a couple weeks to see probably hard data and have a lot of talks, I would imagine, behind the scenes about the decision and where they want to go moving forward. That's also something that they did say in their response, is that they hope that this is a sign of like how they're going to handle things moving forward, which is good. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy with the decision to pull it out. I am. I don't think leveling takes that long in the game. I mean, because at this point, if you're playing past the story points, you're doing it for the leveling experience. That's why you're doing it. And it is a fun game. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, and especially with the way that they handled like the Black Panther stuff. Like, I had an XP boost on for the whole of Black Panther that I was given for free with War for Wakanda. And by the time I was done with the actual content in War for Wakanda, I was fully leveled pretty much. So like, it's not, I don't think they want you to just randomly do missions over and over again for a new character. It's just that happens to be the weirdness of like, the in-between when they flipped that switch of making the XP longer. But yeah, we'll see. This game is always just, we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, that's kind of how it all works. So anyway, we are absolutely Marvel Indies. Nope, we're absolutely PlayStation and Steam gamers. Well, Absolute Brand has a few things in my defense, okay? We're absolutely PlayStation and Steam gamers, and I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion on this. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and stick around. Next week, we're going to be talking about what Gotham Knights should avoid doing that Avengers did do at the start. See you guys next time.